What's going on, everybody? The Diehard MMA podcast was filmed live and exclusively on odds.com. So if you missed the live show, click the link below. It'll take you over to odds.com where you can watch the exclusive replay where we go over UFC 255 and all the betting action, our favorite spots with special guest Matt Holt from US Integrities. Thank you very much. Share this link out, and we'll see you guys over on odds.com.
Main event time. Flyweight fight between Deiveson Figueiredo, 19-1, taking on Alex Perez, who is 24-5. This is a pretty great main event, in my opinion. I know Alex Perez is filling in here. A lot of people don't really know him well enough to understand how good he is and how dangerous he is. But he's a solid fighter, and I'm really excited about this one. You know, Figueiredo, this dude's raw power. That's all this guy does. He actually has a slightly negative by 0.01 significant strike ratio because he's willing to take one to give one, and you just can't take the one that he gives back. He's explosive, decent wrestling. His jiu-jitsu game is improving every single time we see him. That was his weakness early on in his career, and that weakness has really, that door has just shut. He is not a bad fighter on the ground anymore. Alex Perez on the flip side of this thing, lots of experience for his age. I like this kid. He got a nasty leg kick TKO victory in his last fight, and he's a solid wrestler. That's what this guy does. He's got good boxing, fast hands. That calf kick, he goes to it constantly, and then he wants to put you on your back foot and take you down. I just don't see him having any success there. I think when he comes in to close that range to try and take a leg shot on Deiveson Figueiredo, he's going to eat one of those big power bombs right down the middle, and I don't think he's going to be big enough and strong enough to hold the God of War down long enough to make it be much of a difference. I think Deiveson Figueiredo is going to do the damn thing like always, and, you know, we had a KO by Joe Benavidez against Alex Perez not so long ago. And again, MMA math never works, so you can't say that just because Joe knocked him out, that means Deiveson Figueiredo will. But a shot Joe Benavidez was able to put Alex Perez out, and quickly. A prime Deiveson Figueiredo should have the opportunity to do the same. What are you doing here, Matt?
This one's a little bit correlated for me. I think if you like Figueiredo, then you could also take a shot at parlaying it with the under. Because, again, if Alex Perez can't get those takedowns in that wrestling game going early, he's in deep trouble. And who's the only guy to beat Figueiredo? Jussier Formiga, and he did it by using his wrestling. So at the end of the day, if you like Perez too, to me, why not take a shot at over 1.5 rounds? Perez isn't getting a finish early in this one. If he's winning this fight, it's because he's able to keep Figueiredo on the ground, wear him down a bit. It may turn into a choke later, but I also think it's because he's accumulating control time and probably winning rounds. So I think this one's a bit correlated. If you like the underdog here, why not also take a little shot at parlaying it with the over and really juice up the parlay, the payday you're going to get. Whereas if you like Figueiredo and you don't want to lay minus 300, why not parlay it with the under? And at the end of the day, take a minus 300 favorite and turn him into like minus 120.
So they've actually got the total set at 1.5 for this one. The over 1.5 is minus 135. The under 1.5 is plus 105. If you like Perez, I mean, trust me, I am enticed by the dog odds myself. I love the big underdogs, but lay minus 135. Perez is not going to finish a guy like Deiveson Figueiredo in the first round. It's just not going to happen. So even if he does well for the first 2 rounds and then ends up getting clipped late or ends up getting robbed on a split decision, you won your bet on that 1.5 rounds. You couldn't have nailed that on the head better, Matt. That is a great look for anybody who's looking at the underdog here. And you know what? Even if you like Deiveson Figueiredo, that over 1.5 is still totally in play here, in my opinion.
They're flyweights.
They're flyweights, and the recency bias. He was able to clip Joe Benavidez, who's a fighter that is aging and slowing in a division where speed is life. And before that, he got Tim Elliott, who was on maybe the worst run of his entire career. He's redoubled down now. He's looking better these days, but at that time, Tim Elliott was the lowest point of his life. Before that, he fought Pantoja and went full 15 minutes. He fought Formiga and went a full 15 minutes. And he even ended up KOing John Morgan over that 1.5 in the second round. I think that Perez is a improving, tough, durable kid. And I completely agree with you. I think over is not a bad look here since it's lined at that 1.5 spot, no matter which side of the fight you like.
I actually have a feeling Perez is going to get a fast start and win round 1 by getting some takedowns. But I think he's going to have to work really, really hard to do it. And I think by round 2, I don't think he's going to gas. I just think he'll be a little less, gas a little bit. And that little bit will be enough for Figueiredo to start turning the tide. And that rounds 3, 4, and 5, if the fight doesn't get finished in one of those rounds, will all be Figueiredo rounds, but I think Perez is going to put in a good account of himself for the first 10 minutes of the fight.
I absolutely agree. I think that there's a good chance if you've got access to live betting, this could be a live bet spot, because if Perez is going to have any success, it's going to be early. And you could get a much, much cheaper price on the favorite, who right now is sitting at 3-1. If you wanted to go ahead and look that way. So honestly, we're giving you guys out gold nuggets on this main event here. There's a lot of different ways to approach it. What I have done is gone the square route. I told you guys way early on, the very first fight of the night, Louis Koski in a parlay, closing that out with the God of War, Deiveson Figueiredo. Those two will net you about -152, and that's a chalky parlay, but I think it cashes. I'm laying 3.04 units to win, 2 units at that -152 line. Both guys I feel like can finish. Both guys can win by decision if they need to, and that's the reason I'm parlaying them, because if you want to look inside the distance on both of them, I do think they both end up getting a knockout, but I don't want to disrespect their opponents here. They're fighting tough guys that could make these fights close, drag them out, and all we got to do is get the win. So I think you can take Figueiredo. I think you can take the over 1.5. I think you can live bet this one. But I do in the end see Deiveson Figueiredo getting his hand raised.
Love it.
And are you going to end up locking in that 1.5, or are you going to put any other action on this one? What are you looking for?
I haven't bet the over yet, but I'm definitely going to.
Okay.
But I need to bet it now because I'm worried that this total is going to close more like 1.5 over -160. And while we told some people to wait on some, this isn't one you should wait on. You should bet it now because I think by Wednesday or Thursday, it's over 1.5, -150, 160.
That's an excellent point, because it's already gone from -128 to -137. So yeah, if you like this over 1.5, jump on it now, because it looks like that's the way that it's headed. And you know what? I couldn't have said it any better, Jay Short. They both have good gas tanks. And Perez may have success early with that wrestling, but we've seen that Figueiredo just does not stop. He will get up in the 3rd round. He will get up in the 4th round, and he will come back and try and put it on Perez. This is going to be a big step up for Perez. It's his first time, I believe, going for actually, he's got a 5-round fight all the way back in like 2015, but it's been a long time. He's never had a fight like this at the UFC level. So, we'll see how it goes. I like Perez. I think he's a good, solid young prospect, but I fully expect Deiveson to do what Deiveson does. And I'm probably going to end up sprinkling the 3, 4, and 5 round props like I always do on these dangerous, dangerous finisher main event spots, because if Perez slows down, Deiveson will catch him with something big later.
Yeah.